General Brown.
Yes. But
We do have an identified as General Brown.
yeah, he's why isn't yeah, there he is. General Robert Brown. I was like, I know he was on there.
Okay.
Good morning, distinguished guests, soldiers, families, and friends. On behalf of the host of today's ceremony, Lieutenant General Stephen R. Lanza, Commander, 1st Corps, Joint Base Lewis McChord, we would like to welcome you to the 25th Infantry Division Change of Command Ceremony for Major General Charles A. Flynn and his family, and welcome Major General Christopher G. Cavoli and his family to the Tropic Lightning Ohana. We would like to welcome our distinguished guests today, Governor David Ige, Congresswoman Representative Tulsi Gabbard, General Robert Brown, General David Bramlett, Senator Gil Rivera, Representative Mark Nakashima, Representative Andrea Tupelo, Representative Ryan Yamane, Lieutenant General Stephen Lanza, Lieutenant General Anthony Crutchfield, Lieutenant General Frank Wierzinski, Mr. Alan Ho, Representative Delegate Joshua Michaels, Senator Delegate Lauren Hernandez, the Honorable Ed Kubo, Major General Gregory Bilton, Major General Susan Davidson, Major General Mark Dillon, Major General Mark O'Neill, Major General Gary Hara, Consul General Masushi Misawa, Counsel for Defense Affairs Yuri Higashi, Mrs. Carol Kai Anoy, and Mr. Mike McCarthy. The formation of the troops before you consists of units assigned to the division and their colors. Starting from left to right are the 25th Infantry Division, Tropic Lightning Band, the 25th Infantry Division Headquarters and Headquarters Battalion, the 2nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team, the 2nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team, the 25th Infantry Division Color Guard, the 25th Infantry Division Artillery, the 25th Infantry Division Combat Aviation Brigade, and the 25th Infantry Division Sustainment Brigade. The colors of the 524th Provisional Combat Support Battalion are cased for safekeeping and signifies the headquarters is currently deployed forward in defense of our nation and its interests. At this time, please direct your attention to the right side of the seating area, where Sergeant Joseph Polska from the 25th Division Artillery, the Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year, will present a lei to Mrs. Kathleen Flynn for her devotion, dedication, and tireless efforts on behalf of the soldiers and families of our division. We now ask you to please direct your attention to the left seating area, where Sergeant Jonathan Ortiz Riles from the 2nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team, the Soldier of the Year, will present leis to Mrs. Christina Cavoli and sons Alex and Nick Cavoli. To represent the beginning of new relationships that will soon be formed in the command and in the community. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the invocation given by the 25th Infantry Division Chaplain, Colonel Steve Peck.
Please join me in prayer. Most gracious Heavenly Father, on this glorious Hawaiian day stands the Tropic Lightning Division on this Leilahua plain, a plain of war and warriors, past and present. We ask that you would bless this ceremony and all who participate, specifically Major General and Mrs. Flynn, that they would know the joy of a job well done and the impact of their sacrifice. Please give them bright paths ahead. Major General Cavoli, Mrs. Cavoli, and family, may they have vision for the way forward, passion for the challenge before them, and strength to lead this great division in U.S. Army Hawaii. Most importantly, we ask that you would bless what this ceremony represents, the capstone in a series of leadership transitions through the summer that set the conditions for leadership excellence. May you give all our Tropic Lightning leaders vision, character, strength, and courage. May you give our soldiers that were instrumental to victories in the Pacific and wars past the capacity through preparation and partnership to be instrumental to peace in the Pacific. It's in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. In a moment you will see before you soldiers performing the ha'a, a form of traditional Polynesian dance. It is a culturally appropriate expression of pride, courage, resolve, and commitment. Loud chanting, boisterous action, and powerful expressions of mana, or spiritual power, usually characterize the ha'a dance. When performed in a group, the ha'a requires unity, cooperation, and dedication. This ha'a, performed today, is intended to recall the fighting history and spirit of the Tropic Lightning Division, to honor and glorify the colors of the division and its rich heritage. Ladies and gentlemen, the ha'a. Offered by soldiers of the 25th Infantry Division, ladies and gentlemen, bugle calls have a marked place in military history. They have been used for hundreds of years in armies throughout the world to signal, alert, and inform soldiers and units. Bugle calls will be used in today's ceremony in place of verbal commands. In a moment, you will hear sound attention. This is a call of alarm at which the ceremony will begin. In a moment, you will hear sound adjutant's call, which indicates that the adjutant is about to form the division. The adjutant's call, sound off, is sounded on a trumpet and is a ceremonial tradition that has opened parades of American forces for over 150 years. After some preliminaries, the adjutant directs sound off and the band plays 3 chords. Having sounded off, the band then marches in front of the troops and then counter-marches to its original position. This march across the front of the line is said to have originated with the Crusades, when the troops, offering themselves for holy service, were drawn up in a long formation, and the band counter-marched only before those chosen to serve. Now taking their positions on the field is the commander of the troops for today's ceremony, Colonel Andrew Preston, and the division staff.
Mark time. March.
Now present arms!
Take your...
Sound.
Now taking their positions on the stage is the reviewing officer, Lieutenant General Stephen R. Lanza, Commander, 1st Corps, JBLM, the outgoing commander, Major General Charles A. Flynn, Commanding General of the 25th Infantry Division, and the incoming commander, Major General Christopher Cavoli.
Sound. Present arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of honors. Lieutenant General Lanza has deferred honors to Major General Flynn.
Present arms. Staff, order arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Sound, order arms, and parade rest.
In keeping with military tradition, the reviewing party and commander of troops will now conduct an inspection by trooping the line. In days past, trooping the line enabled the soldiers to physically identify their leader and allowed the commander to personally observe and evaluate his soldiers and equipment to judge their capability to successfully engage and win in combat. The history of the 25th Infantry Division is a story of courage, dedication, and duty. For over 7 decades, soldiers of Tropic Lightning have served in some of the most important conflicts in recent history all across the globe. For 3/4 of a century, the division has earned a deserved reputation of fighting ability, exemplified by the nickname Tropic Lightning and the motto, ready to strike anywhere, anytime. The 25th Infantry Division was organized on 1 October 1941. The division traces its lineage to the Hawaiian Division, which was organized in March of 1921. Just 8 weeks after forming, the soldiers of the 25th Infantry Division would face their first enemy. In the weeks that followed the attack, the 25th Infantry Division maintained its vigilance on the shores of Hawaii, ready to repel any invader. As the war continued into 1942, the tide turned against the Japanese and America went on the offensive. The 25th Infantry Division conducted training to operate in tropical environments prior to deployment to Guadalcanal in 1942. It was during the fight in Guadalcanal's jungles, the 25th Infantry Division earned the nickname Tropic Lightning. From Guadalcanal, the division continued to advance through the northern Solomon Islands and later took part in the liberation of the Philippines. The 25th Infantry Division entered Japan at the end of World War II as part of the occupation forces. From there, it would remain for 5 years until the onset of the Korean War in June of 1950. Tropic Lightning deployed to defend the port city of Pusan, where it held the line against relentless attacks. The tide of war would see the division break out from Pusan and move deep into North Korea, then forced back south by Chinese forces. The division counterattacked with Allied forces in 1951, taking back territory lost and guaranteeing the peace and freedom of South Korea by 1953. In 1954, the division returned to Hawaii after an absence of 12 years. Here the division stayed until called to arms again for service in the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War was unlike any war the division had fought before. The enemy fought from the shadows and used hit-and-run tactics to strike. Operations by Tropic Lightning were designed to keep the enemy running and force him to engage. Through the jungles of Vietnam, the soldiers of Tropic Lightning engaged and destroyed the enemy from Cambodia to Chu Chi, from Pleiku to Son Nhut. All Tropic Lightning units returned to Hawaii by 1971 and served America in its role as Guardian of the Pacific for the next 3 decades, conducting joint exercises with partner countries and providing strength and support throughout the Pacific during natural and man-made disasters. September 11, 2001 saw the division protect its own home from an enemy that could strike anywhere. Like their brethren before them on December 7th, Tropic Lightning stood vigilant on the shores of Hawaii. Early in 2004, the 25th Infantry Division deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan in support of the global war on terror. The division fought a desperate fight on 2 fronts against a determined and fanatical enemy, while rebuilding countries ravaged by war and neglect. In Iraq, the division's 2nd Brigade fought insurgents in Kirkuk province, while the rest of the division deployed to Afghanistan. These units included the division headquarters, 3rd Brigade, Aviation Brigade, and Division Support Command. In August 2006, the division deployed to Iraq. This time, 2nd Brigade would remain to complete transformation to a Striker Brigade, as the division headed back to war with the Special Troops Battalion, 3rd Infantry Brigade Combat Team, and Combat Aviation Brigade. The division headquarters deployed to northern Iraq as headquarters, Multinational Division North, and Task Force Lightning. In late 2008, the division headquarters Special Troops Battalion and 3rd Infantry Brigade Combat Team returned to northern Iraq, once again assuming control of Multinational Division North. Just like the previous deployment, the division came at a critical moment in Iraq's history. However, this time, the battle would not be to win the war, but to secure the peace. Task Force Lightning partnered with Iraqi security forces and local governments to help the Iraqi people stand their ground and stand on their own. Just weeks after returning to Hawaii, a new change had come to the 25th Infantry Division. The division headquarters was reorganized as Headquarters and Headquarters Battalion, 25th Infantry Division, on 16 January 2010, replacing the Special Troops Battalion that was deactivated that same day. In December 2010, HHBN 25th ID departed on its 3rd deployment to Iraq, following the 2nd SBCT, who deployed to northern Iraq in June. The division headquarters was given the task of overseeing U.S. forces in Baghdad and Anbar provinces as Headquarters United States Division Center during Operation New Dawn. By the time Tropic Lightning completed its mission on 18 December 2011, thousands of troops retrograded out of Iraq under its aegis, and dozens of bases were transferred to the government of Iraq. Through its outstanding performance, the 25th Infantry Division completed its final mission in Iraq with honor. Today, the division headquarters and Hawaii-based BCTs have returned to the traditional role they assumed in 1941 as Guardian of the Pacific. Today, Tropic Lightning soldiers partner with allied nations in exercises to maintain capabilities and strengthening relationships. Through war and peace, trial and victory, past and future, the 25th Infantry Division has represented America throughout the world, from its birth only weeks before Pearl Harbor to its latest chapters in Iraq and Afghanistan. Tropic Lightning has fought and defeated the enemies of freedom and democracy for 75 years. always calling Hawaii home. The enemies have changed throughout our history, but the result was always the same: victory for Tropic Lightning.
Sound attention. Colors. Center. March.
The positioning of the colors at the center of the formation represents their presence at the forefront of the unit during the heat of battle. As the regimental system developed, units were assigned a specific color or number for its regimental colors. This was done to aid in identification and positioning on the battlefield. Their position at the front and center of the formation provided a point on which the unit could dress. For more than 2 centuries, the Stars and Stripes is the banner under which Americans have lived, fought, and died. More than a symbol, the flag is the embodiment of our government, people, ideals, and values.
Colors. Forward. March. Mark time. March. Colors. Halt. Sir, the colors are present. Assume your post and present the command. Sound, present arms. Detachment, present arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for our national anthem.
Please be seated.
Detachment, order, hung. Sound, order arms, and parade rest. Staff, parade rest.
The passing of the colors symbolizes the transfer of command authority and responsibility from the outgoing commander to the new commander. The passing of the colors from the command sergeant major to the outgoing commander signifies the key role of the non-commissioned officer corps as the guardian and protector of the colors and the men and women who serve to preserve glory. The passing of the colors from the outgoing commander to the senior commander signifies the relinquishing of command and heartfelt gratitude for the support, guidance, and opportunity to serve. The passing of the colors from the senior commander to the incoming commander represents the trust and confidence in the new commander's leadership and commitment to care for the organization. The passing of the colors from the incoming commander to the command sergeant major is his first act in command and verifies his confidence that the non-commissioned officer corps will continue to dress on the colors. By authority of Army Regulation 600-20, Paragraph 2 Alpha, the undersigned assumes command of the 25th Infantry Division. Signed, Christopher G. Cavoli, Major General, United States Army, commanding. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commanding General of 1st Corps, Lieutenant General Stephen R. Lanza.
Well, aloha, and good morning, everyone. It is wonderful to be here on this magnificent day in Hawaii with these magnificent soldiers standing in front of you today. And it's wonderful to see so many friends, family members in attendance today. And I just want to recognize a few of our distinguished guests, Governor Ige, Representative Gabbard, General and Mrs. Brown, General and Mrs. Bramlett, distinguished guests. Thank you all for being here today with the Tropic Lightning team to celebrate the superb leadership and command team of Charlie and Kathleen Flynn over the last 2 years, and welcome the new command team of Major General Chris and Christina Cavoli. So Major Burzak, as you stand out there with all your Tropic Lightning soldiers, you look, and this team is outstanding. And thank you for the Tropic Lightning team for what you do each and every day. The hard work and dedication of this division enabled it to accomplish every mission, sustain a high level of readiness, and have a direct impact on regional security in the Pacific. Thank you all for your dedication and sacrifice for our great nation. And ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to join me in a round of applause for these great warriors standing in front of you today. To the band to my left, you look and sound fantastic as always. My thanks to the Color Guard and the Salute Battery for the exceptional touch of class you add to this wonderful occasion. Charlie and Kathleen, you've been an extraordinary command team. You've built a remarkable command climate, and you leave a legacy of success here in the Pacific. I just want to take a quick moment to thank Kathleen and their kids, Molly, Sean, and Tara, for their support of Charlie as he transformed this already great division into an even higher performing unit. Team Flynn, it's no doubt that Charlie's success has come from your untiring devotion, and all of us are better for it. And Kathleen, you in particular, as evidenced by your extraordinary leadership and mentorship of the Tropic Lightning families. Your steadfast care of the Tropic Lightning Ohana is the foundation that has driven this command team to its success. And through your heartfelt consideration for each and every family, you have made life even better than this life in paradise. And I'd ask everybody to join me in a round of applause for Kathleen Flynn for all she has done here for this great division. Thank you, Kathleen. This is a time when the operational environment in our Army and our world is as complex as ever. Global commitments are increasing, and readiness is our #1 priority. And we have to rely on innovative and team-oriented leaders of character. Charlie Flynn embodies those attributes as a transformational leader. He understands that having the ability to visualize your end state is not always enough. As an effective leader, he must place that vision in the hands of his subordinates and together turn that vision into a reality. And I and everyone here has seen him do that over the last 2 years as he expertly led this division, turning a Stryker brigade into an infantry brigade, a Kiowa squadron into an Apache squadron, integrating the brigade engineer battalions into the brigade combat teams. You know, any one of these single transformational events is a monumental task in itself. Yet Charlie easily accomplished them while simultaneously preparing this division for multiple events at JRTC and NTC, and more importantly, increasing operational readiness in combined arms maneuvers, supporting operations in Korea, Japan, and Australia. And as we all know, the Army can't always predict the future. But I'll tell you this, it certainly got it right when it selected Charlie Flynn to command the 25th Infantry Division. And it is this kind of talent that made him the perfect officer to spearhead an innovation like Pacific Pathways, overcoming the tyranny of distance while simultaneously operating in up to 4 different nations. The soldiers of this division, to include Charlie himself, have lived and trained alongside soldiers in Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Korea, just a few of the many things they've done in this theater. They've capitalized on opportunities to lead from the front and have built readiness at every echelon in this division. I would say the overwhelming strategic success of Pathways rests firmly on the shoulders of Charlie's outstanding leadership in the Tropic Lightning Division. And I can't think of any other division that has had the demanding circumstances or the extremely high op-tempo of this division. Yet Charlie has taken full advantage of this during his time as the commander, and has not only built operational readiness for his unit, but for U.S. Army Pacific, Forces Command, and the Army as a whole, as well as our multinational partners that are so important in this region. Charlie's leadership philosophy is responsible for creating trusted, reliable, and disciplined leaders that exude exceptional competence and unwavering commitment to our profession. His team of physically and mentally tough soldiers have continuously demonstrated to the world that they are both ready, willing, and able to operate with joint interagency and multinational partners, and this is a critical time in our theater when complexity has risen to such a high level. Charlie, you should take great pride in your demonstrated ability to change this formation's approach and increase proficiency in every area. And there is no other division in our Army that is as combat ready as the great Tropic Lightning Division in front of you today. Charlie, your division's committed presence, professionalism, and outstanding reputation was pivotal to the development and enrichment of our relationship in this theater. And because of your leadership, the Tropic Lightning Division is inextricably linked to the terms globally responsive and regionally engaged, but more importantly, it is ready to win when called upon. I have no doubt that your qualifications and outstanding performance here today and in the last 2 years will make you infinitely successful in your next position as the Deputy Commander for General Brown and USARPAC. And Charlie, I look forward to our continued relationship together. Charlie, Kathleen, to you and your family, Matt and I thank you for the significant impact you have had on soldiers and families of the 25th Division and U.S. Army Hawaii. We wish you and your family all the best as you continue our service to our nation. And ladies and gentlemen, as we bid farewell, but more importantly, thanks to Team Flynn today, it is a privilege to welcome Major General Chris Cavoli, his wife Christina, and their 2 children, Alex and Nick, to the team. The Cavolis arrived to the beautiful state of Hawaii from a much colder climate in Grafenwehr, Germany, where Chris served as the commander of the 7th Army Joint Multinational Training Command. There is no better choice for our Army than having Chris Cavoli take the realm today from Charlie Flynn. He's exactly the caliber of leader to assume the mantle of command, and I'm certain the Tropic Lightning soldiers will thrive under his leadership. Chris is a trusted and combat-tested leader who knows how to build winning teams. Chris, your record clearly demonstrates that you are the right person for this job. As commander of the Tropic Lightning Division, I am confident you will continue to shape, motivate, and more importantly, inspire these great soldiers in front of you today and their families. I wish you and Christina and the family all the best, and I know you will do a superb job. Once again, Charlie, to you and Kathleen, thank you for your hard work, dedication, and commitment to these great soldiers standing in front of us today. I know you will continually positively impact our soldiers and our Army well into the future. Chris and Christina, welcome to the 25th Division, 1st Corps, and the U.S. Army Pacific Team of Teams. I'm excited to see how your innovations will positively impact this division, stability in the Pacific, and Army readiness. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today on this momentous event, and may God bless the Tropic Lightning Division, our Army, and the United States of America. Courage, one team.
Ladies and gentlemen, the outgoing commander of the 25th Infantry Division, Major General Charles A. Flynn.
Well, thank you, everybody, so much, and aloha, ikomo mai to everyone here today. Yesterday, my wife had an appointment down in Eva Beach, so I took the opportunity to go surfing at White Plains Beach. And on my last ride out, there was a soldier who gave me a shock. He said, "Hey, Tropic Lightning, sir," and off I went and went back and picked her up. So that was a nice way to end my last full day as the commander of the 25th Infantry Division. And I won't go back through all the distinguished guests here. I just want to thank so much everybody for taking time out of your busy schedules in your life to be here. General Lanza, thank you so much for the kind words. They were over the top, and I just am so appreciative of your command relationship here with the 25th Infantry Division and 1st Corps. And then lastly, I just want to thank everybody who actually put this together. These don't come off, in a matter of an hour or two or one rehearsal the previous day. It takes a whole host of characters, from the band to the artillery to obviously the units, protocol, so many people to put the schedule together and put this event together today out here. So what I would like to do is just have everyone sound off with a loud applause for everybody who put this great event together today. I was reading a Greek philosophy book recently, and it spoke of the acclaimed Greek philosopher Socrates. And it illustrated how he offered advice and told stories in nearly every stop and on his engagements, which was his typical MO. About the same time I was reading the book, I had a friend give me a call, and he counseled me on the speech today. He said, "Charlie, if you do one thing in the speech, don't offer advice and don't tell stories." I then happened to pick up the Greek philosophy book that I was finishing, and I completed it. And in the end, it pointed out that the Greek people had killed Socrates with poison. So I'm hoping not to meet the same fate today by telling stories and giving a bunch of advice. The greatest soldier I ever witnessed, served with, and was commanded by was General retired Stanley McChrystal. And when I was a young captain and he a major, he once told me, "In training, leaders should always be where the majority of their soldiers are." And while on most days for a division commander who commands 13,000 soldier formation, that's impossible, today it is not. Today, and this ceremony, is about the endless ranks of those dedicated professional soldiers in this carefully squared-off formation to your front. Steadfast, proud, selfless, and overflowing with energy, this young group of Americans from all walks of life willingly make sacrifices for others. They give, and then they give more. In fact, they raise their right hand and their right arm, and they swear to give their life. I'm really here today to express my deepest thanks and gratitude. Thanks to those legions of soldiers on the field and to this remarkable community of soldiers, civilians, family members, retirees, and neighbors who look after and take care of and help your Army in Hawaii. Tucked into the Leahua Plains, between the rugged yet gorgeous Waianae and Ko'olau Mountains on this historic postage stamp Army base of Schofield Barracks and Wheeler Army Airfield, we feel a deep sense of honor amongst us. We share that spirit and the mana with you. We're 94,000 Army strong, soldiers, civilians, dependents, and retirees, making up the second largest city in Hawaii, and we, U.S. Army Hawaii and the 25th Infantry Division, are proud to have our roots run deep in this rich and fertile soil. Our roots is the Hawaiian Division for over a century. They tell a story. It's a story of selfless commitment, genuine care, shared sacrifices, and respect. Respect for the people, respect for the land, for the water, for the ocean, and the spirit of aloha that is extended to everyone blessed to walk in this glorious path. In 1950, a very short 5 years after the end of World War II, the greatest and most formidable military force the world has ever known was in a fight. Yet that army was being routed, beaten, and it was in full retreat. The price was high, and the costs were substantial. And it was being paid for in the losses of life of soldiers. Over the years, politicians, professionals, strategists, intellects, and scholars have argued that the formidable military force was completely unready for sustained ground combat. Many assumed that after a decade of big wars, the nation would never commit large ground forces again. Others debated and planned that this kind of war was unthinkable. Some even surmised that the nation would have time to prepare because the prevailing thought was we'd won like that before and we'll do it again. While even others postulated that nuclear weapons would afford us strategic and tactical depth. Those events unfolded in this Pacific theater. Those soldiers were from the 25th Infantry Division. This event was not that long ago, and the formidable military force I'm referring to was the U.S. Army. As beautiful a day as we have, on as gorgeous a field as this is, terrible threats exist to freedom. In dark places across the globe, evil people prepare today to inflict harm on us, our families, our nation, our freedoms, and our way of life. And we should learn from history. It's our responsibility to be ready. We're accountable to the American public to be prepared, and it's our duty. So as I bid farewell to my comrades in the 25th Infantry Division, Tropic Lightning, always ready yourself. Always be prepared. Always train. Always look after one another, every soldier in your formation. And to your families, your mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, children, and to the commanders and soldiers alike, the single best quality of life program we have today in the Army is training. It saves lives and it wins wars. And that is why we exist. I hope that in some small way, my contributions here for the last 27 months have made you better and made you more ready. You certainly have made me better, and for that, Kathleen and I will be eternally grateful for the experiences and for the memories. To my Kathleen, I love you. That is all there is, just pure love. Like the roots in the soil of the Hawaiian Division running deep, so do our friendships. Kathleen and I look forward to helping them continue to grow. It has been my distinct honor to represent you and to be on your team. The great General retired Maxwell Taylor once said, "The badge of rank is a symbol of servitude, servitude to soldiers." I hope I have served you well. It has been my highest honor. Chris, good luck in command. This is the second time you've replaced me as a general officer, and for that I apologize now to you for having to clean up after me once again. Kathleen and I wish you, Christina, Alex, and Nick all the best in this amazing experience. The journey is spectacular, just like this beautiful island and its people. Savor every moment. God bless the state of Hawaii and its people. God bless the United States of America. May God bless the United States Army. May God watch over every one of you and your families. I hope you have a wonderful day. Tropic Lightning.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 25th Infantry Division, Major General Christopher G. Cavoli.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here today. Your presence is a testament to the great work done by the men and women on this field and to the friendships that you have developed with them. General Brown, General Lanza, thank you for the opportunity to command this fine division. I understand the confidence you've placed in me, and I will not let you down. To the Flynns, Charlie and Kathleen, thank you so much for your kind welcome and your kind words, and for the wonderful work you've done with the Tropic Lightning Division and U.S. Army Hawaii. As Charlie noted, this is not the first time I've followed General Flynn into a job, and Charlie, you always make everything so easy for me, except for the part about filling your shoes. And you've set the bar high indeed this time, and I hope to live up to it. To our neighbors and hosts, the wonderful people of Hawaii, thank you for the warm welcome. Christine and I have been overwhelmed by your hospitality and your sincere friendship. We look forward to living among you, and yes, we are happy to be here in paradise. To the band, to the salute battery, to the color guard, and to the hui ha'a, thank you. You added ceremony and great class to this event today. Command Sergeant Major Burzak, thank you. This parade is wonderful. The soldiers look absolutely magnificent. And finally, but most importantly, to the soldiers of the Tropic Lightning Division, your reputation is known far and wide. The work you are doing for our country in the Pacific is historic. I am truly lucky to step into your ranks and to serve with you in this great time. Mahalo to you all. One team, America's Corps, Tropic Lightning.
Sound, attention. Detachment, post. March.
pass and review.
Pass and review.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the national colors pass your position, please render the appropriate courtesies. Thank you. The division staff is led by the commander of the troops, Colonel Andrew Preston. The G1 is Lieutenant Colonel Joe A. Ratliff. The G2 is Lieutenant Colonel Kanami Kuniyuki. The G3 is Lieutenant Colonel Neil Mayo. The G4 is Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Disney. The Tropic Lightning Band, commanded by Chief Warrant Officer 4 Jonathan Ward and Sergeant First Class Joseph Turner. The drum major is Master Sergeant Jeremy Davis. Headquarters Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Travis J. Dolan and Command Sergeant Major Kenesha Lamont. The 2nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team, commanded by Colonel Anthony Lugo and Command Sergeant Major Thomas Holland. Squadron, 14th Cavalry Regiment, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Jabari Miller and Command Sergeant Carlos Cano. 1st Battalion, 14th Infantry, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel David Kritsky and Command Sergeant Major Michael Spear. Battalion, 21st Infantry, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Brent Clemmer and Command Sergeant Major Raymond Harris. First Battalion, 27th Infantry, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Valent Burnett and Command Sergeant Major Charles Anderson. The 65th Brigade Engineer Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Heather Levy and Command Sergeant Major Giovante Fuentes. The 225th Brigade Support Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Missigoy and Command Sergeant Major Robert Garrow. The 3rd Brigade Combat Team, commanded by Colonel Robert Ryan and Command Sergeant Major Alan Michaud. Battalion, 27th Infantry, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Glenn Hellberg and Command Sergeant Major Ronnie Blount. The 2nd Battalion, 35th Infantry, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel John Hill and Command Sergeant Major Brian Disk. Squadron, 4th Cavalry Regiment, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Sean Brown and Command Sergeant Major Larry Lawson. Ninth Engineer Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Barrett Emmenheiser and Command Sergeant Major Jeremy Gross. The 325th Brigade Support Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Sean Kelly and Command Sergeant Major Thomas Marnock. The 25th Infantry Division Color Guard, led by Command Sergeant Major Scott A. Burzak. Division Artillery, commanded by Colonel Matthew Stater and Command Sergeant Major Aaron White. Third Battalion, 7th Field Artillery, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Kenneth Slover and Command Sergeant Major Gary Deloach. Second Battalion, 11th Field Artillery, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Blackman and Command Sergeant Major Danforth Elliott. The 25th Infantry Division Combat Aviation Brigade, commanded by Colonel Kenneth Chase and Command Sergeant Major Brian Houck and Chief Warrant Officer 5, Terry Horner. Second Squadron, 6th Cavalry Regiment, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Martin and Command Sergeant Major Gerardo Gonzalez. Second Battalion, 25th Aviation Regiment, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Jason Davis and Command Sergeant Major Brandy Whitman. Third Battalion, 25th Aviation Regiment, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Graham and Command Sergeant Major Marty Stevens. The 209th Aviation Support Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Isaacson and Command Sergeant Major Rodolfo Lopez. The 25th Sustainment Brigade, commanded by Colonel Gavin A. Lawrence and Command Sergeant Major Pang C. Shen. The 524th Provisional Combat Sustainment Support Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Byron T. Coleman and Command Sergeant Major Sonia T. Mallory. 25th Special Troop Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Stephen W. Morris and Command Sergeant Major Sean D. Miller. The salute battery is being performed by Charlie Battery of 3rd Battalion, 7th Field Artillery, under the direction of First Lieutenant Zachary Stiles. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of Tropic Lightning March and the Army Song.
Our answer will always be square. We're tough, we're ready for whatever mission we find fair. March along, sing a song, we're the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proud to proclaim. First we fight for the right and to hear the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count up the cadence loud and strong, and wherever we go, you will always know the army is rolling along.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please remain in your seats to allow Major General Flynn and wife Kathleen Flynn to make their way to the front of the stage so that they may bid farewell to the soldiers and civilians of the 25th Infantry Division. Tropic Lightning.